Good afternoon, guys. It's the 21st July and a quick US30 analysis before New York opens in about 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours for the 2:30 bell. Okay, so yesterday we had a nice pump for US30 as we analyzed. We kind of came at I literally drew to that conclusion just because I thought TXY was going to drip further, and it did. So we had a pump of US30, and now I do feel like the thing is, I still do feel like US30 can go further, and it will, just because let's do a quick look at DXY, okay? Because it hasn't really touched my weeklies, so let me see how accurate I can get to my weekly zone that I think it would touch the POI. It did not actually touch the POI that I want. The high is 369. I'm just trying to be as accurate. Yeah, do you know what it is? It's like it almost and barely that kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So right now, I do feel like we've got the bearish momentum still very, very active on DXY here. I do feel it will give us one more pump at the minimum. However, we are doing a retracement of this candle. So we could be looking for a retracement off to either 50% of this we call a fair value gap, or we could see it to this POI right here, okay, which is I'll give you guys one. Yeah, you can see this. 104,728 to 103.300. So this zone right here, we've got another POI where I do think price could potentially come touch, mitigate it, and then drop it right back down. Okay, so again, we're just gonna go with price action as we go along. As of now, we are still bearish on the XY, which means we are bullish on US30. Okay, so I am gonna go back down to US30, and I want you guys to just see this. Like, we had the weekly highs here. So I was waiting for price to touch this candle right here. I mean, obviously we had the next high week here, which was the liquidity for this candles, but I was going for the first previous high right here. And let's just see. I think it did not really get there. Hold on. We've got a high 35,396. This high is 35,383. You see, we did not um, quite get there, just a couple of pips, you know what I'm saying? And so I would at least would have hoped to gotten off a liquidity sweep of this yesterday for me to kind of think that okay, we are dramatically going to go down. But however, I can see a retracement happening, so I am going to just drop down to see whether we are seeing any break of structures in the lower time frame to give us sell opportunities. Okay, so on a 12-hour, we can see a bearish candle is quite forming right now, but it hasn't given us a break of structure, neither as an 8 hours. 4 hours, look at this. Okay, this is interesting right now. So when we go to the 4 hour chart, like, I want you guys to see this. So we had a nice bullish candle, and then followed by a bearish candle, and then we had another bullish candle. So I am going to take this candle right here as my low. Okay, right here. So on a 4 hour, I would want to see a structure break here at the bare minimum before I do think that we are going to have bearish momentum to the downside. Okay, let's just go down to the 3 hour. Right, there we go. We're looking at the same thing here. I'm just trying to see if we can find new lows at the top. There we go. Okay. Now on a 2 hour, we do have a structure break. No, not we do. We may have a structure break at the close of the 2 hour candle. Now, I would personally like to see a structure break on the 4 hours, but this will give us a momentum that we could be going bearish, I mean. Okay, so look, we had a bearish momentum candle followed by a bullish. So this is my new low right here. Not very accurate. I'll use a trend line to draw a small little. Does this work, guys? Don't know. Not very clear, but okay. There we go. Okay. Can you guys see this? Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so bearish, bullish, and then the lower wick is the new low. And you can see the next bearish candle, this one is pushing down. And if it does close below this wick, we could possibly be getting some bearish momentum. And one more bearish candle that will close below this wick would give us a 4-hour break of structure. Okay, and then obviously drop down to the lower time frames, look for the next best. We obviously got break of structures here happening as we get along, and I do want to mention that we have to wait for price to retrace back to a POI before we kind of look for bearish positions. So you can look for that in the lower time frames. I'm just going to quickly look at what would our TPs be. Where would I actually aim for? Okay, so because of this bullish candle momentum, I would say I'm just going to use horizontal rays and just mark them up. All right. Okay, so this would be for our TP1. Okay, so this is a zone right here, and I'm just marking it at the top of the zone. And then we've got another zone right here, guys, if you guys can see, and I'm going to mark it right below this zone here. So 50% of that TP2 for our TP2. All right, like potentially where I do think price could possibly go. All right, the top of this fair value gap right here for our three, and then 50% of that, and I'm going to stop. Okay. Oops. Okay. All right, guys, so this would be where I would expect price to retrace back to at minimum. However, what you also want to be very careful of is just the top of this zone here where price could just touch it and give it mitigate this order block and then shoot way back up, because I did say that we are pretty bearish on DXY. I do think that there's potential for it to mitigate that weekly order block in DXY. So I do feel like we could have a bearish momentum, I mean bullish momentum on US30, just because I do feel like next week we could have a nice reach even to this POI here before we actually see a fall. You know, I personally do not see it turning bearish until we have some proper price action giving us that momentum. As of now, probably we can work on catching the retracements. So I would wait personally for 5 minutes for it to close below my 200 moving average, right? You can see we're having nice momentum falls right here, right? And however, price has been teetering right around this region, which I do not personally like. So I do want price to close below the 200 moving average on a 5 minutes, give us a nice drop, and then come back to retrace a POI further down, and then I'm looking for sells over here. Okay, on a 5 minutes. So obviously wait for break of structure to happen, guys, because as of now we haven't had a break of structure on any particular time frame. Like you can see here, look at this. We do need price to close below this wick. Please remember that, because if this wick close below does not count, the body of the candle needs to close below the previous low. Okay, so you can see right now it's teetering right around this range, and if it does go up a little bit and close, this is not considered what do you call that? It's not considered as a break of structure, so therefore we could still be looking for buys. All right, so that's my analysis for today, and hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Trade safely, trade responsibly, watch your risk management, and see you guys in another video.